Now, I hear people say today, you know what the church needs? The church needs a good little bit of persecution. That would straighten it out. I'm not so sure we know what we're asking for. How many of us are willing to die today? Somebody's going to break through that door, and they're going to haul a third of us off and put us in prison to scare the others to not do this anymore. And they're going to take possession of this building, tear it down, or do whatever they're going to do with it. And some of us are going to die. Does the church need that? I agree. Yes. The church needs to, we need something to push us. But the question is, are we ready? And that's what the goal is for the next 8 weeks, is to get us thinking about how we are going to be ready. So he is being persecuted, and he's saying that he's a brother with them, and he says that it calls for patient endurance. If you're writing notes, I want you to write down patient endurance. Let's say it with me. Patient endurance. This is a theme of Revelation. It is a theme of Revelation. In Hebrews 10:36, it says, "For you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised." We talked for the last 2 weeks, or last 2 sermons on the We Believe series, we talked about heaven and we talked about hell. If you are patiently enduring and you're doing God's will, you will get the reward, which is heaven. If you do not believe in Jesus Christ and you are not patiently enduring and you're not doing the will of God, you will get hell, which is eternal separation from God and punishment. It's a key idea. And life is tribulation. Life is not easy. Christianity was never meant to be easy. Scripture says that, wide is the way that leads to destruction. That's pretty easy. It's the easy path. Narrow is the way that leads to righteousness. Back in West Virginia, where my father grew up, when I was young, we had 2 choices on how to get to my grandparents' place. We either had to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle to come over the mountain, and the road it looked more like a riverbed, a rock bed, because the rocks were up and down, and you had to have 4-wheel drive, or you had to row across the river. Now, understand, the Wabash River, that's nothing compared to the Monongahela. Take about 5 or 6 of those. That's the width of the Monongahela. It's not my fondest, one of the worst memories I have is about 11 o'clock at night having to row a rowboat in the dark across the river to get the ambulance workers for my grandmother when she was dying, and having to row them back in the dark across the river. It takes probably, I'd say, about 10 to 15 minutes to row across the river. The path to my grandparents was hard. But you know what? We did it because it was worth it. It's a little easier now. My uncle owns a property. He's kind of made the road better. But still, it's not that easy. The path of Christianity is difficult. And John is experiencing it. He is experiencing the trouble. And what he's telling them we need to have patient endurance that are what? In Jesus. You and I, we don't persevere for Jesus. That's not why we persevere. It's not for Him. We don't persevere. We persevere in Him. We do it like He gives us the ability to persevere. We can't do it on our own. And when we persevere in Him, we persevere like Him. Jesus persevered to the end. He died. But that was His goal. He persevered through it. And we need to persevere like that. Tough times are coming. Life's going to get harder. We've been talking about that. We talked about it yesterday with the men of Issachar and how things are changing and how we need to know what's happening. We need to persevere through it. And we don't persevere on our own. I'm not going to build a bunker in my backyard and hide my family in the bunker And if I did do that, I wouldn't tell you about it. That's not my goal. My goal is to help us all persevere through this together. Because together we'll make it. Separately, we're dead. We're done.